Hey guys, so I'm a little rusty and it's been a while, but the vibe is vibing, so I'm here to do a general collective tarot reading. Granted, I am trying to do this without editing as much as possible, trying to be authentic so that I can live up to the name of my channel. However, again, I am rusty. I haven't gotten my tripod yet. I've picked it out, I just haven't gotten it yet, and there are other things that are missing, but when the vibe is vibing, what can you do? Anyway, there are going to be timestamps, so, if you just want to get to the reading, you can click on that. Excuse the burp. Anyway, like I said, no editing as much as possible. So we're gonna start this general collective reading. I have already done a private prayer to bring in my spirit guides and your spirit guides and hopefully get you the messages you've been asking for. So with that said, let's get started. Oh, this is fun. Okay. Okay, that's good enough. It's gonna have to be. So, all right, spirit guides of the intended collective. What messages do they need to hear? What's on their mind? What's blocking their path? And what guidance can you give through me to help them get past these blockages? All right, so let's start with the essence of the problem. Tell me what's going on, Spirit, and other such entities. What's going on for this collective? What is the heart of the matter that is plaguing them these days? The Ace of Wands in reverse. Okay. The Ten of Cups in reverse. And the Ten of Shields upright. And we got one more. The Four of Cups in reverse. Full disclosure, my husband has informed me that I am in fact a chaos witch. I don't fully understand what that means, but his description matches my practice. So, just full disclosure there. So with that said, these cards might move around if it calls to me to move them into different places and if it helps things to make more sense. Anyway, so at the heart of the matter, we've got the Ace of Wands in reverse, which means that there was a hopeful project, something that you had invested some energy into. Not a lot of energy, but just a little bit. But like, you hoped it was going to be more than what it was. And it didn't pan out that way. You're emotionally unfulfilled. Not sure why that is, because physically speaking, I'm sorry, this is the Ten of Cups in reverse, and this is the Ten of Pentacles upright. So the Ten of Cups is your absolute emotional perfection. Everything is exactly as you need it to be to feel fulfilled, but it's in reverse, so that's not happening in a place where you feel like it should. And then we've got the Ten of Pentacles, which is the same thing, except instead of your emotional happiness, it's your physical happiness. So your money, your home, your friends, maybe not your friends, but like the family, either born or chosen, that is fundamental in your day-to-day life. All of that is going great for you. On the surface, you have nothing to be upset about, right? Or at least that's how it feels. But there's a disconnect because you you don't feel fulfilled. You don't feel happy with everything you've been given. Which, I mean, as far as balance goes, that's kind of the perfect balance, don't you think? Anyway, so then we have the Four of Cups in reverse. It seems to me that you have lost touch with someone that mattered to you, someone that should have been part of this. That could have been a family member, a friend, a coworker, anyone along those lines that should be part of this grand picture, but isn't. And that's why you're feeling disappointed in the result. Okay. This person was an essential part of a passion project for you. You thought that this person was going to be, well, for lack of better terms, your partner in crime. But it didn't work out that way. So what do you do with that, right? Okay, I'm checking to make sure we're still recording because my phone doesn't have a lot of storage space. And we're doing this in regular HD instead of 4K for storage space reasons. So anyway, sorry for the interruption. We'll put a timestamp for that. So back to the reading. Okay, so now that we understand the situation, what else is going on? What led to the falling out? What's let's put all of this to the side. Put it like that. Okay. I also have these stones and cards and things as a more or less barrier for what my recording space is. Anyway, back to the reading for real. Here's where the timestamp goes. So these are going to get moved over here. And let's investigate this further. What led to this? What led to this falling out? What led to this falling out? What was the foundation of the matter? Oof, both. Okay. Okay, so we have the Nine of Swords in reverse, which is upright. It's about longing for something from the past. Typically, a thought process or some other intellectual subject that was really important. Like, for example, this picture is Lily made of Astalot. I'm sorry, I don't actually know how to say that. And she's pining over Lancelot. I don't remember the full story. I read through the book that came with the cards, but anyway, but she's pining for Lancelot as she's entering the Ten of Swords energy, which is the final battle. So that is in reverse. So that's not a problem here. Hopefully that makes more sense to you than me. Otherwise, we'll get some clarifiers. Let's put that there for now. We have temperance, patience, balance. Yeah, basically those things. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse, which is normally a card of treachery and theft, which, again, not a problem here. And I think I'm starting to see it. Okay, and then we have the Five of Wands, which is a card about assessing the matter, looking at it from the outside perspective so that you could get a better picture of the detailed parts, right? Or at least as you get to the details, you'll understand it better. So it sounds like what happened here No, this is wrong. Okay. Okay. This person is, how do I put this? I don't want to say impatient. That's not the right word. They're, maybe reckless. They act first, ask questions later, deal with consequences later. Um, they they would rather take what they need and then share with those they deem worthy of it. And they don't understand the pattern that's forming in their relationships. That this is how they treat people, and as part of this collective, you understand that that those are red flags, man. They're red flags. You saw the red flags with the temperance card. You saw the red flags, you took a moment and you looked at it from a bigger view. And you put your own emotional well-being first, which was absolutely the right call. And so the logical conclusion here is that you made a hard decision to cut them out because they were an essential part of your plan. They were an essential part of what you thought would be end game for your path. Whatever that may be. It doesn't need to be a romance thing. It can be your career aspirations. It can be all sorts of things. Your education. I don't know. Your pursuit of happiness. I don't know. If that movie means something to you, that's a good synchronicity for you. Anyway, so that's what's going on with that person. So what does my collective do now? What does this collective do now? What is your advice for them, Spirit? And other members of their spirit team? Jesus. Okay. We have the Queen of Shields, Queen of Pentacles, which is basically the matron of the house. She's the caretaker. She's the one who does the day-to-day chores. She makes sure that things are running smoothly on a very physical level. The Page of Cups, which is a very not a childlike person. It's more like in this context, this is your inner child. The side of you that wants to believe in people, that wants to have faith that humanity can't be this bad. And then we have the Five of Shields, which is Pentacles. And yeah, people are this bad sometimes. It happens, and it's been getting worse over the generations. These are generational problems. I am not a psychologist, but I have done extensive research in things like personality disorders and other such things, and they're passed down. And these people tend to have multiple kids. So, it makes sense that this is becoming more and more of a problem as the population grows. And the politics and economy doesn't balance that out. So, anyway, that's a little side rant. The Five of Pentacles is about being shut out from the world, being shut out from society. And your inner child has a wound with that. Your inner child feels isolated and left out. And that's heartbreaking. Yeah, I get that. That is a deep emotional wound that I could take several guesses, but let's be real, based on my 2.5 years of therapy with a clinical psychologist, I'm assuming this stems from family issues, like family of origin issues, because that's inner child stuff. Could be wrong, just putting it out there. Anyway, But your inner child is feeling shut out from society for whatever reason. And you need to address that. You need to do something to make your inner child feel included. So, what I have found as a helpful meditation is to imagine you're talking to your child self and just have a conversation, whether out loud or in your head or whatever. Maybe you have a journal that you can do. Oh, what's that awful movie with the mailbox? Anyway, you can do something like that, right? Um, so, anyway, ask your inner child why they're so sad. And then go from there. Help them explore that feeling. And you'll find that they will help you understand your own issues. But you need to treat them as if they are your child, as well as child you. It's complex, it's complicated. The human brain is like that. But the inner child work is really important on this because, again, we're not going to bullshit here. That's how you got fooled in the first place, is because your inner child doesn't understand that normally people aren't like this. Normally people are compassionate. They take care of the meek. They don't have this hatred that everyone's come to grow in their hearts these days. And I mean, I get why, right? Like, it makes sense. But anyway, so your inner child needs to understand that the hand they were dealt was not fair, and that it doesn't need to stay that way. That you are making efforts to protect yourself and to make sure that these sorts of things don't happen again. And that's why you had to cut out this person. That's why this person couldn't be part of this path. And it sucks and it hurts. And part of this plan is going to require starting over. That's life, unfortunately. Free will is a thing. Sometimes people opt not to be part of the plan, even if it was something agreed upon before they were born, right? For those who believe in that. So that is my advice to you. Do the inner child work. Do something that's going to be fun for your inner child. For me, it's watching the version of Cinderella with Brandy, because it's so ridiculous and it's so colorful and I love it, and I love it. Anyway, so something along those lines. It doesn't need to be big, it doesn't need to be long, it doesn't need to be a grand gesture, it doesn't need to cost any money. Just something fun for your inner child that makes them feel like they're part of the conversation. And you'll find that this starts to feel a little bit better over time, and that this path is still possible, just not with this person in it. And you saw that coming, and you're protecting yourself, your path, and everybody else connected in it. So that is the reading for today, and I will see you when the vibe is vibing again.